What's up, everybody, and welcome back to All the Things Sort of Truth, the alcohol-fueled chapter-by-chapter reread of the Sort of Truth series with a magic cooking pot of craft brew on the side. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jade.
And this week we're going to be talking about Chapter 36 of Wizard's First Rule.
Heck yeah.
We have a couple of...
Sorry.
You got into that magic cooking pot, huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That could be read a couple of ways. Well, we have a couple of things to announce. First off, we have finally redone our Patreon page. If you guys go to our Patreon page, you'll see that now we have a $1 tier, a $2 tier, a $5 tier, and a $10 tier. We wanted to do that because we realized at $6, maybe people just want to throw in a buck, or maybe they just want to do it one time. You can get on there, sign up, and make a pledge, and then immediately, cancel your subscription. That's kind of how you do a donation on there. But we figured that might open it up a little more to have some different tiers on there. And we have new stuff, too.
Right. We just posted a couple of gag reels from our backlog from our Harry Potter podcast, but there's a lot of stuff extra episodes that we've made just for Patreon that we kind of want you guys to be able to hear too. So if you guys are interested, please head over there and let us know what you think. Also, we are going to be putting a couple polls up on the Facebook about live episodes and about our giveaways that we have coming up. So we would love some interaction on there. Let us know what you think. And if you guys are listening to this episode later, hopefully you will have seen it on the Facebook page. Otherwise, you should like the Facebook page because you're missing out.
Yeah. Well, I think that does it for kind of the housekeeping. This chapter has a ton of stuff in it, so I think we better get at it.
I agree. This chapter, Zedd comes back, and it is wonderful. I was so happy to hear him back, and as, him.
Zedd,
Yeah.
the wise one,
Yeah.
the old one.
We needed the funny back.
Yeah.
It was getting real heavy without Zedd around.
I mean, it's kind of heavy with Zedd, too, because in this chapter, there's the reunion, which is happy, but then there's two really serious talks.
Yeah. And a long night of watches.
Yeah.
Filled with talks.
Ooh, that's a good episode name. A Long Night of Watches.
Try and figure out what we mean. What the fuck is the cat doing?
He may or may not be in the dryer.
Oh, good.
I'm sure he's fine. The door's open. I can see it.
Okay.
So, the chapter starts in the morning. Richard and Kahlan wake up to realize that Rachel is gone, and she has left a lock of her hair for Richard in his shirt pocket right next to his heart. He determines that it will be very difficult to track her because she's barefoot, she's small, she's moving through the woods and not leaving much of a trail, but he could do it.
Yeah, because he's a super awesome woods guide, obviously. He goes into super great detail about why she hasn't been caught yet. So if you were wondering in the last chapter how this little girl made it through, it's because she's like a mouse.
Reflexes of a cat.
Yes. Kahlan immediately is like, it's my fault. My fucking long hair is just ruining everything for everybody. Can you just cut it for me? Because, I can't do it myself.
No, she really can't do it herself.
Yeah.
The magic prevents her from cutting her hair. Otherwise, it's, excruciatingly painful.
Yeah. Earlier, when she said that confessors didn't cut their hair, she was, super understating exactly what that was about.
Yeah, why that was.
Yeah.
Well, what if they, pull a hair out on accident?
I think that normally hurts anyway, so.
Yeah, but it's not excruciatingly painful.
I don't know.
If you accidentally, I have a bit of a nervous tick, or I did when I was younger, but I would, play with my hair, and sometimes I'd pull some of it out. And if anytime I did that, I just, screamed and fell on the floor, it would have been a much bigger deal.
Well, yeah, I mean, if in that situation, yeah, I'm sure that would hurt. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe accidental. You can like have a loophole. So she should have like accidentally fallen down and ripped her hair out.
A lot of this magic I feel like has to do with intent.
Yeah.
And that's come up a few times in the book already too. So it's got to be like if you're trying to cut your hair, then it'll hurt.
Yeah, she says that every confessor tries to at least once. So I don't know if it's like a fuck you to their parents at least once in their life. They're like, no, I'm going to cut it because you can't make me keep it long. Or just to see what it feels like, maybe. Maybe that's why they all try it at least once just to see.
Yeah, I mean, I would. You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I guess so. Just to see what it feels like.
Cutting your hair is a totally natural thing that you cannot fucking do. If you do, it will hurt, like a lot. Somebody else can do it.
And they're like, nah, it's my hair. It's not going to hurt. It's just dead hair. No, it hurts.
But Richard, being Richard, says, no, I'm not going to cut it for you. You know, we can be no more or less than who we are. You are who you are. You're a confessor. You have the long hair that goes with that. Apparently, permanently, because of the magic. I'm not fucking with that.
Yeah, you like literally just said no man would dare to cut a confessor's hair. So
yeah,
maybe I am a man and I don't dare. So they figured that Rachel was running from something, but she wasn't going to end up going to Horner's Mill. Or at least Richard knew this very, very clearly. In the last chapter, we were talking about how when Rachel said, oh, my grandma's there, and then Richard was like, nope, can't go there. She was like, oh, it's fine. And it was weird.
Yeah, she was just going to abandon her grandma.
Yeah. Richard did note that, but he was just like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna ask you any more questions. Obviously, you don't want to talk about it. Kahlan was just like, oh, she's gonna go see your grandma.
Yeah, I didn't think about it at all. Yeah, I mean, it was weird, and that stuck out to us right away. Like, so you're just gonna abandon your grandma? Then you don't care if you see her, even though you're bringing the bread to her?
Yeah. And Richard also knew right away the bread wasn't the bread. Like, there's something weird with the bread, Kahlan.
Oh, yeah. It was all about the bread. She would let them, like, handle Sarah, the doll.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't let them anywhere near the bread. And that's super fucking suspicious.
Yeah. And Richard noted that right away, apparently. He was like, she didn't have shoes on, but she's protecting us from her fucking bread.
Yeah, and she's starving, and she hasn't eaten any of it.
Yeah. Come on, Kahlan.
Yeah. Come on.
But they justify they can't go after her because it's going to take them, like, 2 fucking days to do it. And they can't. They have to go stop Rahl. There's no, oh, there's a little girl.
Yeah, I mean, they'd like to help her, I'm sure. And that's what Kahlan asks him. She's like, how long would it take? And he's like, probably a day to get her, and then a day to get back here. So it'd set us back 2 whole days. And sorry.
Yeah, it's way too much. We have until winter. Winter is coming.
The irony here is that the bread is the box.
Mm-hmm.
So they could have all of this over in 2 days.
Yeah, no, they could literally justify going after her.
They could totally justify doing it. It would solve everything.
Yeah, they just don't know that yet.
Right.
So they did doubt their choice as they were walking for the next couple days, which, I mean, you do. What else are you going to do while you walk?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But like you said, you know, they know that they have to go after Rahl. So Richard's mind keeps going back to Rachel, but also keeps drifting to Rahl. And that makes him ask the question, hey, so we're headed to Tamarang. What happens if Darken Rahl is already there when we get there?
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing that Queen Melena's not just going to hand over the box to us if he's already there coming for it.
In his head, I think he's making a plan to deal with the queen and take it from her and Giller. That's what he's been talking, like he was asking about with the Rachel thing. He's trying to figure that whole plan out.
Right, not realizing that they already have a deal with Darken Rahl.
Yeah. And Kahlan is like, oh yeah, I've been thinking about that for a while. The answer to that is, we'll probably die.
Yeah. Game over.
I didn't feel like sharing that with you or trying to brainstorm a solution.
Why would you? Oh, it's just a little detail. You know, I didn't think it would matter.
This might be the penultimate battle that we're walking into right now.
We are walking into the boss level enemy territory. Mm-hmm.
But I didn't feel like I needed to tell you to grab some extra health before we walked through
Right.
the door.
You didn't stock up on ammo, Richard? What the hell?
They end up making camp for the night in a different place. They can't make a camp in a Wayward Pine anymore. They just mysteriously disappeared. So they're like on this cliff edge now, kind of out in the open. And Zedd just like shows up when they happen to be like talking about food.
Yeah, of course Zedd shows up when they're talking about food. Is there any other time we think he might?
No, I mean, he followed his nose.
I'm half surprised that Richard didn't kill a deer, cook some venison, and be like, here's Zeddy, Zeddy, Zeddy. He would have showed up in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Zedd needed the Nightstone to fight Richard and Kahlan, but all they needed to do was cook something. And Zedd was like, oh, what's up, guys? Whoa, where the fuck did you come from?
He could have had one of those little triangles and like rang the dinner bell.
Soups on.
And it would have been fine. But Richard doesn't trust that it's him right away. He makes him walk through a spider web.
Yeah. Walk between those two trees.
But then immediately he is like, oh, cool, you're Zedd. Which I get, like the spider webs have given him indication earlier in this book. So, all right, but maybe ask some more questions. Like, hey, what did we eat the last time we were together?
What's my middle name, fucker?
Right, like maybe some follow-up questions, just like one or two, just to be like, okay, you're a person, but are you for sure like my person?
Right. Oh, I mean, he's been fucked over Zedd twice already.
Yeah.
So, and that's what he said, fool me 3 times, or...
Yeah, it was something like fool me 3 times, but I think it was Richard's version of fool me 3 times.
Yeah. You ain't getting me 3 times.
Right. But the first thing that Zedd says is, yeah, I'm Zedd. It's true as toasted toad. So the reader is like reassured that this is Zedd. We're not being duped. We're not going to find out at the end of the chapter that this was yet another like ruse.
Yeah, not just another hologram.
Right.
And I mean, that's what we were told earlier in the book. That's how Richard knows when something is legit from Zedd. True as toasted toads.
Yeah.
That's what you need to look for. That's probably their secret code.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, all Zedd really cares about is the food. And he's like, look, we got some shit to talk about. We're going to get to all of it. But right now, what we need the very most is food. So Zedd cooks the food using his magic, like speeding the shit up. Richard and Kahlan are like, dude, we just started. It's going to be a little while. He's like, fuck that. It's done.
Yeah.
Check.
Yeah.
Al dente. Or whatever. Al dente.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. So everybody has something to eat, and then it's time to catch up.
Right. And the first thing that Richard asks is how Zedd and Addie got along. And it was hilarious.
He blushes. You could see him like looking the other way. But Addie, yeah, she's cool.
He's like, what the fuck kind of question is that? Why would you ask me?
Immediately on the defensive.
Yeah, there was no reason for him to freak out, but he did. And he was like, I don't know. I just, I know that she's a pretty attractive lady there, Zedd. Yeah, she's nice.
She's a handsome woman. Yes.
And then Zedd changes the subject very neatly by being like, yeah, you know what? She gave me the fucking Nightstone. That's how I tracked you. You being careful with that? I told her to tell you it was dangerous. Goddamn witch women.
That was a good swerve, Zedd. Good swerve.
And then he asks what they've been up to since, he passed the fuck out the last time he saw them. And they fill him in on everything with the mud people, which, again, was really funny because it's like, oh, you can't get in trouble with mud people.
Yeah.
You can't get in trouble with the mud people, Richard.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. It's more of a warning, even though the story was already over. You can't do that. You can't do that. It's like, we know the Birdman told us we can't do that the whole time we were there. And then we did that.
Yeah, Kahlan fills him in on everything with the elders and becoming mud people and the bird whistle. After he knows everything about the mud people, they go on to what happened in Agaton Reach. And at this point, Zedd is not super thrilled.